So, breaking news is what I just seen while I was reacting to that Chargers versus
zillions of apartments.
Chargers versus Chargers versus Dolphins. That was a great game, by the way. My reaction to that video is on my channel. So make sure to tune in. I should have a little tally marker up
Earlier
there.
this evening, Aaron Rodgers suffered an injury against the Buffalo
It's
Bills.
popped
In this
up
video,
though.
we're going to dive into what I think might have
Cause
happened.
matter of fact, I'm supposed to be watching this game, but it's tripping.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter. My goal in this channel
Matter
is
of fact,
to
let me
help
check
talk
this
about the
scope.
medical side of the sports world. So if sports injuries and anatomy and that sort of thing interests you,
that looks
please
nasty.
consider subscribing to stay up to date and support the channel. Let's dive right into this. And at the time of recording, there's about 13 minutes left in the second quarter. We've heard that Rodgers is officially questionable to return, and they're calling it an ankle injury.
Bills
so
up 10-3, 40 seconds left in the second
number
quarter.
one, I think we're dealing with the left leg. I don't really see anything abnormal with the right, and so until we hear otherwise, I think we got to focus on this left calf. As he plants here, I want you to see how in this frame, everything is pretty taut in the back of his calf. We can see these little contours. That's going to be his calf musculature. His foot is anchored and planted on the ground, and then as I advance a couple of frames, we see everything just kind of release. And it's right there in that release where I'm worried he might have suffered a significant calf injury, potentially even an Achilles injury, because the foot is still planted. There should still be load and tension through these muscles, but we see everything just kind of give and release as he goes down to the ground. Now, just because we see this snap doesn't mean that it has to be an Achilles rupture. You have a third, often forgotten muscle of the Achilles complex called the plantaris, and the plantaris can rupture, it can pop, it can feel like an Achilles injury. That might even be the little bit of contour that we're seeing right there in the middle of the back of the calf. And if that ruptures, it's not a big deal. It's not really a functional muscle. It certainly is not going to put anybody out for an extended period of time. So my hope is maybe that's all we're seeing here. But this position, he's
I hope so. This like I ain't gonna lie, this like one of the most anticipated seasons.
He gets driven down, and there's
anticipated seasons
that
like ever.
Put somebody at risk of something like
you know he got drama every year with Green Bay. He finally get a chance to leave, pick up his wet. He bring Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb.
Well, the muscle tension was just released.
They Sauce Gardner talking. He cool with Sauce Gardner. Garrett Wilson had a good little year last year.
I was wondering about a foot.
You got everything you need. Niggas is talking. This is what the hype is about this year. You go down with an injury.
This step right here,
that has to
after
hurt.
we've seen that kind of pop in the back of the calf. Look how awkwardly his foot gets twisted. This kind of loading position of the foot almost looks to me like potential Liz Frank when we see that load.
That looks bad.
Flex,
that looks very bad, actually.
Midfoot. But the pop had happened before this in the back of the calf, so I think if this ends up coming out, and sometimes ankle versus foot, we kind of lose sight of all this. I would wonder about the Liz Frank in his foot just from this awkward sort of twist that he has on his ankle. But again, this initial kind of pop that we see in the back, I'll walk through it again. Foot goes down, ankle gets forced up into dorsiflexion. That stretches everything on the back side of the leg. We see initial tension right there, and then as we go a couple frames later, the foot is still loaded, the heel is still on the ground, but we see everything sort of release, suggesting to me that there's a high chance that there's been some type of injury to the back of the leg here, whether it was just a high-grade calf strain or something more significant like
calf strain could be the
Don't
thing.
forget about that plantaris muscle, though, because that can be involved and can isolate and can pop and snap and not at all be a significant thing. So that would be my concern, just based on the initial plays and what we've heard so far from Rodgers. Let me know any questions or comments down below. We'll keep the channel updated as soon as we hear more. And thank you as always for watching.
It could be. So it could be a calf strain, Achilles, or a tear in the calf or something like that. So we don't know actually what it is until it comes out. He's questionable right now, so we're gonna see. Yeah, that's really it. It's been your boy.
Ship delivered.
Around. Oh yeah. Peace.